financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is, it's not ho ho ho, it's oh no no, the bills are here. Brian Small.
This show sounds like it's right up my alley.
It is up your alley. And there might be some tax problems for Jeff Linden.
It looks like it. Good morning, Ken.
And the guy might be under so much pressure he starts beating everybody up, so he might have a criminal problem for Scott Weinberg.
Oh no, call your attorney, that's what it is.
There you go. So let's get at it, to use Chris Cuomo's words, and then we'll go from there. This is from the Wall Street Journal. How to get out of debt in 2020. There was an article December 30th. When I saw the topic and the title, I said, that's my kind of article to read. And I looked at it, and I saw a great quote. And the quote went like this: while some may be tempted to ignore debt for now, it isn't recommended. The longer you procrastinate making a plan to get debt-free and just make the minimum payments, especially on high interest rate debt, the more brutal the buildup. This is something that
great words.
we talk about all the time.
The buildup.
Now, that was the great part of the article. What was interesting in the article was it said nothing about how to really get out of debt. Credit counseling and doing all these things that just drag on the process, and doing your avalanche theory and your other theories. It didn't say...
They're not my theories.
Bankruptcy. No, it didn't say bankruptcy. It didn't say debt resolution. But it said, and it pointed out the need to get rid of the debt. Now let's talk about the debt for a second. Average U.S. credit card debt statistics as of the end of this year. We have reached the over $1 trillion mark in total credit card debt, $1.088 trillion.
Isn't that more than what we were at when the economy collapsed in 2008?
We were at 1.02, so we're higher than that. You got to give in mind that it is 10 years later, but we are higher than we were. And these are G19 reports from the Federal Reserve. 128 million households comprise that debt. So it's about $8,600 per household. There's 235 million cardholders. That's $4,202 each. Now remember, when you say 128 million households, $8,600 per household. For every household that has zero credit card debt, that means there's another one that has twice the amount of credit card debt in order to make those averages work.
I'll tell you something, the usual amount of credit card debt I see people walking into my office with, the minimum these days is $20,000, $25,000 as a regular.
And what would you? Is 80,000 unusual?
80,000? No. 100,000? No. I mean, I meet with people that have $10,000 worth of credit card debt, and we can help them. But I just as often am seeing people with, like last week, I met with somebody with $200,000 worth of credit card debt.
Here's how I see it.
200,000.
We've
That's
had
unbelievable.
a sustained long period without a recession, and we've had easy monetary policy, making it very easy for credit card companies to make credit available. I see that as a problem, because what it's done is it's allowed people to amass even greater amount of debt. And I'm going to give you this statement, and I want to know whether the three of you agree or disagree. For people who are in debt, the sustained recovery has had the unintended result of allowing further extensions of consumer credit, which acts to delay the necessary step a person needs to take to eliminate the debt.
I'll tell you,
Do you
whoever
agree with
said
me?
that
Agree or disagree?
is brilliant. I completely agree.
And next,
Absolutely.
was the person who said that brilliant?
I'm going to hedge because I have a feeling it's somebody sort of, right of center.
Is it someone at this table?
It is someone at this table.
Someone at this table? All right.
That's
brilliant.
It was absolutely brilliant.
That's like those cabinet meetings that when the Trump presidency first started out, and he'd have the cabinet meeting, and they'd all have to go around and compliment the guy who was crazy.
You're the greatest host I've ever seen at this table.
Yes.
You're
Absolutely.
wonderful job. This is a great man. That's okay. All right. Now, let's take that concept and I want to put it into numbers. If you wait suppose because of this extended growth period of no recession, you've been able to continue to increase your credit card debt and delay getting rid of your debt for 5 years. I want to give you the cost of that.
Well, before you do that, let's put it in terms of how people think. People are thinking about, oh, things are good, I'll fix it. But by putting it off, they're not fixing it because they think it's okay. They think it's okay to just keep paying because I'm doing okay. I'm making more money than I used to. I'm okay. The fact is they're stealing from their retirement and stealing from their future,
It's that
and they're not reacting to anything negative in the world.
It's
at
the
moment.
brutal buildup is what it is.
Can I
That's
just
what it
mention one
comes
thing?
down
That
to.
it's
Yeah.
getting these credit card offers in the mail. They are already at the limit on their one. They're making the minimum payment on the one. They still have their income, and so they take another credit card and they start building it up on that. But they're okay because they're making their payments and their credit is good.
You're 100% right. And it's layered even worse. And where it's even worse is small, mid-sized businesses get offers constantly in the mail.
That's exactly
I got
right.
an offer. I meant to bring it in. I forgot. I got an offer came to my house yesterday from a Ventura Credit in the name of the firm. Your $500,000 loan is ready for approval.
Right.
Now, how these loans work is they're not like borrowing the money from a commercial bank. They do a quick tax return look at you, they run a credit report, and they have you, your wife, everybody co-signs the loan, and they're not even loaning you money at an interest rate. What they're doing is they're buying your future revenue at a 20% markup. So they'll buy the next $100,000 of revenue from you for $80,000, and then they'll collect your next $100,000. So that's 20. It's like 20% tax interest in 6 months, which is 40% interest. And they make the money so available, people take it because it's easy, and that's the problem. But let's say you have $60,000 of credit card debt. At 20% interest, that's $12,000 a year. 60,000 times 2.5% your minimum monthly payments, you're paying $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month for 60 months at 5% interest is $101,000 over that 5-year period.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh.
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
Who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
All right, we're back from the break.
So you're talking about if you weren't spending the $1,500 on your credit cards and
you were
instead were
investing
investing it.
And yeah, and that's for the 5 years, because I said, suppose you delayed getting out of debt for 5 years. Now, so you did that at the end of 5 years, you'd have $101,000. Now take the $101,000 and continue to invest it. You're not going to add to it every month, because I only want to know the cost of the delay of the 5 years. But the $101,000 in 10 years is going to grow to $165,000, and in 20 years it's going to grow to $269,000. So what I'm saying is, you take that $60,000 of credit card debt that you've been servicing, and instead of getting rid of that debt, you continue servicing it for 5 more years. Your long-term effect, if you could have taken that money instead and put it in the bank and earned 5% on the money, is $269,000 over 20 years. It is brutal. That's why that quote was so correct in the Wall Street Journal. You need to get rid of the debt, and you have to recognize what it's doing to you from the standpoint of your future and your retirement. It's not about just getting to Friday and just paying the bills and never accumulating any savings. That's the mistake. Let's take George and Nancy. Family of 4, 2 teenage kids. George works for GM, makes $60,000 a year. Nancy's an RN, she's making $50,000 a year. Their combined income is $110,000. They have a house in Farmington Hills, fair market value $235,000, single mortgage on the property $200,000, equity $35,000. They've got $80,000 of credit card debt. They owe taxes from 16 and 17, $10,000 and $15,000. They must have been under withholding on their returns. Before we get to addressing George and Nancy's options, I want to change the facts and let you guys debate what I call a real hot issue if you're watching commercials these days. Same debts, $80,000 in credit card debt, $25,000 in taxes. The house is different. They have $135,000 of equity in the house. It's worth $335,000, not $235,000. They could get a home equity loan of $70,000. The loan representative is saying to them, let me loan you the $70,000, put a second mortgage on your home on a HELOC. You take the $70,000, you pay off the taxes of the $25,000 you owe, you pay down the remaining $45,000 on your credit cards, and you only have $35,000 of credit cards left to deal with. Is that good advice?
It's terrible advice. Absolutely terrible.
That is the advice that I hear 7 times a day on the radio and TV. Cash out, refinance, take the money, pay off the credit card debt. So why is that the wrong decision?
Let me translate. Cash out, refinance. Take the cash out of your house, risk the roof over your head for an unsecured credit card debt. Secure a debt to your future, to your roof, and get rid of your credit cards, which you could wipe out, A, in a bankruptcy, possibly, B, if a bankruptcy is not an available option, we can do debt resolution and settle those credit cards for pennies on the dollar while still leaving the equity available in the home. Your future, what do most people do when they retire? They sell their house and downsize, and they utilize that part of that money for their retirement.
Yeah, go to the 3-point retirement plan. You want to get to retirement, you own your home free and clear, you have 0 debt, and you have some savings. You put those 3 things in place, and you're guaranteed a retirement without the pressure of not having enough money to live on. If your savings covers a few gifts for the kids, your Social Security covers your operating expenses.
If you do what those people suggest, taking the money out on a HELOC or whatever other, refinancing your house, if you want to work until the day that you die,
Yeah, and the reason is this.
That'll work.
You refinance, and then 10 years later you refinance again. Now you're 66 years old.
And you got a 30-year mortgage.
You're living in the $350,000 home with a $325,000 mortgage. So you have the mortgage payment, you've got your car payments, you got your credit card payments because you've done the same thing again.
And you can't stop working.
Because if you retire, instead of having $110,000 of income coming in a year, you now have $48,000 of income coming in a year.
Which doesn't pay the mortgage, doesn't pay the car payments, and doesn't leave enough money to put food on the table.
So if you're watching, if you're listening, here's the point. I'm not saying we never do a refinance, but you never take that money and pay off 100% on the dollars on the credit cards, because you're giving away, you're taking the equity of your home and you're giving it away to resolve the credit cards, which could be resolved at a less expense.
I'll tell you, I have a client that just recently did something similar. He took out a home equity line of credit, and then he negotiated a settlement on his credit cards.
So you got the benefit of the discount.
Got the benefit of the discount, and his plan is to pay off his home equity line of credit over 5 years at his 6% interest rate, instead of paying his credit cards off
At 22%.
at 22 to 29%.
Right.
Plus, you get the deduction off your income tax.
You
though, right,
do,
to be able to
on
do
top
that.
of it.
Well,
Should
you
you ever-
do if you qualify for the deduction.
Should you ever
Most
take
people
the?
don't right
should you ever
now.
take the equity out to buy a car? What should you take the equity out to buy that's reasonable?
You could take the equity out to buy a car. If you said to me what my philosophy is on this now is you go with certain rules. You don't refinance, you don't take equity out, you get the house paid off. That's what I preach to my children and to young adults, because it's a guarantee if you can build that asset up that you have financial stability. And it's a slippery slope. As soon as you look at the equity of your home and the balance of your 401k as a slush fund to cover vacations, cars, and bigger houses. Once you get into that mindset, you are in the problem of leaving yourself in you're compromising your future. You need to look and be, I don't want to say the word frugal, you just need to come up with objectives that work. You get the house paid off and you want to then buy a bigger house, okay, as long as you know you can have that part paid off by the time it comes to retirement. We'll take a break, we'll crunch Nancy's numbers, we'll go through it and see how we can make it work for them. We'll be back after the break.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
Criminal matters are serious. Your freedom, future, and wallet are on the line. Criminal defense attorney Scott Weinberg is a former prosecutor and renowned criminal lawyer. For over 30 years, he's the go-to defender in Michigan to protect your rights. Scott's advice: you have the right to remain silent. Use it. If charged with a crime, call Scott Weinberg today, 888-235-HELP, 888-235-HELP. And remember, stay silent.
Time for announcements. A reminder, viewers, to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on Praise Network, 93.5, 98.3, and 99.9 FM, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m. and Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m., and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Be sure and sign up for our monthly contest. Free $100 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and a copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Just go to the website, pop in your name and your email address, and you're entered into the contest. We have seminars coming up on Wednesday, February 26th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Bye-bye credit card debt, hello happiness. We're going to go through all the mechanisms we use to eliminate debt so that you start saving money for retirement, solutions using bankruptcy, solutions outside of bankruptcy. The whole key is that you want to get to retirement with zero debt, some savings, and a position where you are able to pay your bills and expenses and live happily ever after. Special segment by Jeff Linden on how to resolve tax issues. Scott Weinberg is going to do a segment on criminal law issues affecting everybody. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Then on Wednesday, March 18th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., we have an estate planning seminar called Your Will, Your Trust, and Your Powers of Attorney, The Essentials. We're going to go through the basic estate planning rules. We're going to talk about the new rules on IRAs and 401ks under the Secure Act. This is new law and effective for 2020. We're going to talk about how to protect your assets for you and your children. Attendees receive a $300 gold certificate off the cost of any estate planning service from THAV GROSS. You want to sign up for this seminar. It's going to be a great one at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Remember, 888-235-HELP. Also remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. Just call the firm at 888-235-HELP or go on the website and request a consult. You got debt issues and estate planning issues with Brian, tax issues with Jeff, business law issues with myself, elder law issues with Pat Simasco, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner, criminal issues with Scott Weinberg. You're always entitled to a free consult. Just pick up the phone, call, we'll get you in, we'll go over your issues, figure out the right strategy and plan on how to address the issues. Our free consults are not meet and greets. We analyze the problem and come up with a firm solution to your problem, what it'll cost, and what the steps you need to take in order to effectuate that result. Also, go to the website. We've got free reports. Brand new, Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions, written by Jeff Linden and myself. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit, and The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Simasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Simasco Law, Michigan Criminal Lawyers, PLC, and Jeff Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
All right, so we're back. So let's talk about George and Nancy. Let's look at their budget. Their net income on their $110,000, I calculated it at about $77,000 a year, which is $6,400 a month. Their expenses, they've got their mortgage payment, $1,750, car payment, $750. That's 2 car payments. Credit card payments, $2,000. Tax payments on the $25,000 of tax debt, $425. Utilities, $450. Food, $1,000. Miscellaneous, $750. Total expense, $7,125. Against their income, they're negative $700 a month. Brian and Jeff, what are we going to do? Do they qualify for a Chapter 7?
It depends. Which equity position are we looking at? The one where they had...
No, they don't have the equity in it. They
All right,
only
so
have $35,000 of equity in
So
the house.
with $35,000 of the equity in the home, they qualify for a Chapter 7. They're going to be able to eliminate their credit card
So they're
debt.
making $110,000 with a family of 4. You can put them into a Chapter 7?
Yeah, I know it's crazy because people think, oh, that's a lot of money. I won't qualify for bankruptcy. That's absolutely false. A family of 4 with their allowed expenses is, and because you see, the reality here is that their credit card expenses are $2,000 a month because that's their minimum monthly payments. They're putting essentials on those credit cards because they don't have the cash flow.
Because of the $709 they're short.
So their budget, if you eliminated the credit card expense, isn't going to magically be $1,300 positive. It will be positive, but they have to. There's life that has to go back into that budget. They've been living tighter and tighter and tighter, and bankruptcy is supposed to give people a breath of fresh air.
All right, so the 7 will work. Jeff, what happens with the taxes? They owe taxes from 2015 and 2016, I think I said.
Yeah.
2016 and
16 and
2017.
17. So from Brian's standpoint, the 2017, they'll be able to potentially put those into a bankruptcy sometime in the near future, not today.
Well, 2016's tax year was due in 2017 April, and
What's the rule?
So they become dischargeable 2017. I mean, the
It's a
2017
3-year,
tax year
two-rule,
becomes
Right.
It's a
dischargeable
3-year
this year in 2020.
3-year, 2-year, 240-day rule. So the return
Had
must
to
have
have
been
been
due for three years.
Filed for 2 years,
2 years.
and you couldn't have been assessed in the last 8
Okay,
months.
so 16 is due April of 17, so April of 20 is
It's-
discharged.
it's
So
the first
we're
time,
going to
right.
get rid of if we had to do a bankruptcy relatively soon, we would get rid of one of the tax years out of the 2. We would get rid of all of the credit card debt, leaving the 2 of them owing on us on 1 year of
All right,
taxes.
so what about waiting a year, not paying any of the credit card payments, and then discharging both years' taxes? Can we do that?
We can if we know that their income is going to be stable. And
That it's not going to go up.
that's one issue. The other issue is that we have to keep the creditors off their back, which we're very good at doing. And then we have to worry about whether or not the housing market is going to explode somehow, and they're going to have too much equity in the home.
So assuming the equity is going to stay, so they can protect $35,000 of equity in their home?
They actually can protect $57,000 equity if they're over 65, $50,000 equity if they're under.
Okay, so we can have some appreciation and they can be protected. I think they could probably wait the year. But they're sitting there saying, do I have to make the credit card payments during the year?
So my advice at that point would be, as long as we're involved, we're going to keep the system flowing, and we're going to stop making those credit card payments, and we're going to juggle them for them.
Don't
For sure
worry
we're
about
not
your
gonna make the
credit
payments.
score. That's what they're saying. What happens to my credit score? That doesn't matter at that point.
No.
And that's
It doesn't.
always the question that they ask. What about my credit card score? Which doesn't make any sense, okay? The reason why you ask the question is because you're brainwashed thinking that the credit
exactly
scores are so important. Once you get rid of the debt, your credit score will rise back up. Your credit score is your pay history, your available credit, the amount of authorized credit you have versus how much you utilize, and your aggregate amount of debt. The aggregate amount of debt goes down, that helps the score go up. You then get offers for new credit cards, you have more authorization available, that goes up. Your pay history takes the hit when you file bankruptcy or you stop paying, but that eliminates itself over time. Your credit score ends up even better. Take a look at the numbers. You'll see they go from negative to positive $1,716. Bankruptcy was their solution. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality. Thanks for tuning in.